Hello everybody, Gibbs and Mac here, and today I'm going to be talking about night maps in Battlefield Hardline and in Battlefield 4. So there will actually be a few night maps in Battlefield Hardline, and from what we know right now, we know that there will be two, and that's Hollywood Heights and Grow House. But we've also heard some information recently about night maps that actually come into Battlefield 4, even on CTE and in a new update. But I just want to give my thoughts on night maps, what maps in Battlefield 4 I'd like to see actually turn to night. So in Battlefield 4 we haven't seen many night maps. All we've seen is Hangar 21. Of course you also have Dawnbreaker and Sunken Dragon, but Sunken Dragon and Dawnbreaker are kind of switch times, so it's not exactly always nighttime. But on Hangar 21, it is actually all completely nighttime, and it is actually a pretty good map, in my opinion. Now, in Battlefield Hardline, we will see Hollywood Heights and Grow House, and I have actually made a video talking about all the maps in Battlefield Hardline, and I go over these two maps about halfway through the video. So, Hollywood Heights, in my opinion, looks amazing. I just love the way that this map looks. You know, it's a mansion in Hollywood. I just love the way it looks, and it looks mostly close quarters. Now, there is actually a fire in the background, which will probably give off a lot of the light in, and of course, if you're inside, then there would probably be a lot of light in as well. So, the next map we have is Grow House, and we've seen quite a bit of gameplay on this on Crosshair and Rescue. We haven't seen it much on other maps, but this is also at night. Now, this is mostly indoors. I would actually really like this map at night. Of course, it's mostly interior. And, you know, both of these maps are mostly interior. Maybe they may have some outdoors area. But even then, if you're outdoors, then you will have a lot of light in. Now, where I'm getting at with this is that a few people on PC for Battlefield 4, they have actually made maps nighttime. Well, from what I know, and I don't know exactly how they did this, but I'm pretty sure what they did was they changed the light in effect, and they changed the brightness of the map, so that it looks kind of nighttime. It's not, fully night. I would like to see this on, consoles and stuff. Of course, there isn't really modding for Battlefield 4, but this is actually pretty cool, and I have heard that DICE LA, they mostly do stuff on CTE. They've talked about night maps, and they seem to actually be working on night maps in Battlefield 4, because we did actually see a night map for Battlefield 4 on CTE already, and that was Pro Market. This was kind of for a Halloween event, and it was kind of the same thing as what these, I guess you could say, modders, although they're not really bad modders, because if you want to join the server, then that's on your own, and you can leave the server at any time. It's not like modders where they're using gun hacks or they're one-shot killing people through walls and stuff. It's not anything like that. It's just kind of their server thing. Now, I have seen a few maps on this. I've seen Siege of Shanghai at night. I've seen Operation Firestorm at night. I've seen Propaganda. I've seen Zavad. I've seen Pro Market, of course, and that's about it. But there are a few other maps I'd like to see, at night. all the maps I've mentioned, Siege of Shanghai, I'd love to see at night. I really love that map. I'd also really like to see Zavad, because there is that fire, that forest fire in the background. I would like to see how that works. I would also really like to see Operation Firestorm, because that also has a lot of fire effects, and I would like to see that fire effect at night. I would also really like to see Gulf of Oman. I haven't seen that at night, and I would actually really like to see that. Especially with the sandstorm. I would also really like to see Propaganda, and I would also really like to see Rogue Transmission. I think those maps would work pretty well with nighttime, and I would really like to see all those maps. Another thing about night maps, it gets a lot more people to use the IRNV and the FLIR sites, which nobody really uses them much unless you're on Metro or Hangar 21. Those are the really only times that you can really use them, because there's not many night maps in Battlefield 4. We'd also probably see a few more people use flares, maybe, and maybe even those fire grenades. Not many people use either of those grenades, and if more people start using those, that would be pretty cool. And more people would also use flashlights and stuff. Another thing I'd really like to see in Battlefield Hardline, and this could also work for Battlefield 4, would actually be to change to night maps in the options. Imagine, I've already said some maps I would really like to see added, for night maps. But imagine if you could join a server, and it could be night map, it could be at night, it could be at day, it could be at dusk, it could be at dawn. It could be at any real time. It could also, have a few weather effects. Maybe it's raining, maybe it's snowing. I guess some of the maps of Battlefield 4 may not fit, the snow, especially like on a desert map. Just some changes like that on the actual server, and I think that would be pretty cool, because, imagine, like, if you have Final Stand, and you know you're kind of getting bored of the regular maps on Final Stand. You know the maps are pretty good, but you're kind of getting bored of them. Imagine like if you join a server and you're like, oh, this is Giants of Corellia, I've already played this map. Well, imagine if it's nighttime. Well, then that changes up the map completely, and that would actually be pretty cool. So let me know what you think. Would you actually like to see where you can actually change maps to night? Of course, you'd still have the regular maps, and you'd still have the daytime maps, or you know, whatever. I'd also really like to see something like Hangar 21 at daytime. You know, I would really like to see how that feels. So let me know what you think in the comments. Would you actually really like to see this, and what maps would you like to see at night or at daytime, or you know, with these, or with some weird weather effects? And we will probably see some more night maps in Battlefield Hardline. Hope you all enjoy. Feedback is always appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next video.